Hey everyone, welcome to my show, Skits, Music and Crime. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Welcome again. So this is the final hours of Takeoff the Rapper. October the 31st, 2023, Halloween was about to become even more scarier and gorier than anyone expected. It was before long what turned into a deadly altercation. Two-thirds of polarizing hip-hop collective Migos was high off the release of their recent collaboration album Only Built for Infinity Links. Chris Shink, Kerry Ball, known by the rapper moniker Takeoff, and Quavo was the nephew-uncle duo forming a new group while trio worked out some recent kinks in their family relationship. The night began with Takeoff along with Quavo paying a visit to the regular jeweler, Johnny Tang. Surveillance footage shows the duo entering the store. Takeoff and in a plain white t-shirt and black pants. The intentions that night were to check out some new jewelry pieces and get some of their own clean before heading out on a big night planned ahead. Takeoff gives a handshake and embraces the hip-hop king of bling, not knowing what would become one of the last people who would see Takeoff alive. Takeoff and Quavo from there would head out, meeting up with some friends to make their way to a private party that was scheduled that night at the A10 Bullards in Bowling in Houston Center off San Jacinto Street and Dallas Street. Video footage showed what is alleged to be affiliates connected to the mob ties, and a lot music labelled and organisation shows Takeoff along with Quavo in their company in the vicinity of 5th Ward, Houston. According to location tag in the moment, signs were present as to what we're awaiting to transcend later on that night. So I'm just going to show you guys a video. Welcome again. Hold on, I'm just going to do that. And I'll go back here. New tab, share. So I hope that's sharing. It should be. Oh, here we go. Yep. Just wait for it to load up. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know. Gotta get an ad remover for that. What's that come out? Just 3 more minutes. Sorry, guys. It's annoying.
Any business can make it. With each day that goes by, more and more evidence is revealed on how Takeoff truly passed away, including who did it. It wasn't until Offset and Quavo's speech about Takeoff was released which revealed new evidence. During the two Migos rappers' speeches at Takeoff's funeral, they mentioned something that connects to what happened to Takeoff's passing. After Takeoff's funeral on November 11th, Migos rapper Quavo's sister posted to her Instagram, and I quote, "Find out who did this to my nephew by any means." Now, shortly after, an alleged security file was released with new evidence with the main two suspects, including new camera footage as well as witness statements. On Halloween night, rappers Quavo and Takeoff were invited to an event set up by Jay Prince Jr. Quavo and Takeoff showed up to the event with a driver of their vehicle alongside the first suspect, Migo Bands. Now keep note of Migo Bands wearing a snapback hat, single diamond chain, Gucci bag, and his shirt as seen in this Instagram story. It's important to know this later on. Now, their night starts with Quavo and Takeoff performing for the small crowd, all that were invited by Jay Prince Jr. Once it was finished, they then went backstage and all relaxed at an after-party room with many music industry people, businessmen, and just others invited to the event. Now, while at the after-party, here's where we meet suspect number 2. This suspect's name is Cam. Cam is known for many street-related acts in Atlanta, and this is why Quavo may have noticed him at the after-party. During the after party, there was table games being played in exchange for cash, where Quavo is seen playing. Now here's a photo taken of Quavo playing and then giving a very ugly look towards Cam during the after party event. It almost seemed as if Quavo knew that Cam was going to be up to something no good. Cam wore a yellow sweater this entire night. It's also important to remember that as well. Now after this was complete and the event was finished, Quavo, Takeoff, Migo Bands, as well as practically everyone invited to the event, all started walking around a shopping center in Houston, Texas, as it seemed like the table games in exchange for cash was not over. People still wanted to play. So inside of the shopping center, there is a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling Houston. There was up to 50 people at this location, standing around in a massive circle with 4 to 6 people taking turns, playing each other in games of dice in exchange for cash. Reports state that Migos rapper Quavo was one of the 50 men playing, but that was false, as Quavo was just watching. Now, while watching people play dice, a man then walks up to Quavo. This mystery man, who still remains nameless, walks up to Quavo and begins automatically calling him many names. This then led into the man mocking the way Quavo was playing during a celebrity basketball game just a few weeks prior of the incident. With Quavo arguing with this mystery man, fans and people that were at the event just start pulling out their cell phones and start recording, as Quavo is then seen arguing back and forth with this individual, where Quavo is recorded saying, and I quote, "Man, I don't care about no basketball game." Now, it was at this current time where Cam in the yellow sweater is seen walking up to Quavo and standing right beside him and the other man that's arguing. Now, with the yelling beginning to escalate, Migo Bands is then seen walking towards the group of 50 people where Quavo was arguing. It's noted that Migo Bands was most likely there to be his street security for Quavo and Takeoff. It'll make a lot more sense here in a second. Now, you can tell this is Migo Bands from the shirt, Gucci bag, single chain, and snapback that he was wearing in the vehicle earlier in the night on Instagram. Now, Migo Bands makes his way to Quavo. He makes it a priority by moving people out of the way. That way he can understand what's going on. With everybody still recording, Migo Bands is then seen standing beside Quavo, trying to figure out what is going on. Meanwhile, Takeoff is around 4 feet behind Quavo. Now, with Quavo done arguing, he begins to walk away from the individual he was yelling at. With Quavo turning his back, new camera footage revealed the man he was arguing with then swings towards Quavo. With Takeoff seeing this occur, this is where he starts to take a few steps forward, and with him walking towards Quavo for backup, this is where allegedly Cam pulls a firearm from out of his yellow sweater pocket and raises it. Meanwhile, at the same time, Migo Bands then raises his firearm as well, and both firearms end up being used. With both firearms being used in this small space, everybody in the crowd starts immediately sprinting away. Allegedly, Cam is the one who used his firearm first, then Migo Bands used his second. And with both of them using firearms, eyewitnesses at the scene claim that both Migo Bands and Cam allegedly hit Takeoff once each, as I'll be sharing that eyewitness's statement here in a moment. Now, with the sounds of firearms being used, everybody is sprinting away, ducking for cover, hopping over benches, and they're even sprinting out of the doors of the mall. Meanwhile, Takeoff is sadly seen on the floor of the mall with Quavo standing right by his side. It was at this moment where Quavo was trying everything possible to get him help. He was even asking everyone to stop recording as well. Now, Takeoff in the end was affected by 2 strays during this incident, and everyone is blaming Quavo for this. But do not do that, as during this entire situation, with firearms being used right beside Quavo, he knew immediately Takeoff was affected. He stood right beside him the entire time, all the way until the end. Quavo did not flinch. He didn't even run away for a second. He stood there while firearms were being used right beside him, being there for Takeoff. Now, before sharing the exclusive witness's statement, you need to hear Quavo's speech at Takeoff's funeral.
You always with me. And we did everything together. Since we was kids, she been by my side, looking up at me with them eyes. Same eyes you got as my sister. Waiting on me to make the next move. Then you followed up right behind me. You always made sure I did it first so you can do it right with me. You never competed with me. We was always on the same team because you hated playing against me because I always played too hard or too rough. And I can hear mama saying, not too rough, son. Remember our first dream was to be tag team partners in the WWE. We fell in love with WWE wrestling. We had every...
Now, during Quavo's message, it states, and I quote, "Takeoff super quiet though. Quietest in the room, but paid attention to everything going on. He's always been like that. Nothing ever really bothered Take, and he didn't bother anyone." Now, remember that part of the message, as it actually relates to the eyewitness's statement. Now, a female named Elizabeth that was at the scene was actually seen standing right beside Takeoff moments before it occurred. Now, she tweeted just hours after the incident, and I quote, "I'ma speak on this because I feel like I have to. I was right there, standing next to Takeoff. They wasn't arguing about the dice game. Quavo was pressed, and Takeoff was hit by strays, as firearms were used for no reason. Rest in peace, Takeoff. He didn't deserve that. He was to himself the entire night." Now, this tweet also had text messages attached by another person that was at the scene who gave their side of what occurred. The text messages read, "Firearms just started ringing, but they were coming from somebody the Migos was with. But he was using his firearm wild, and he hit Takeoff on accident. Then the other people started using their firearms back, and I think he got hit again. But ultimately, his own guys did it, because when he got hit the first time, I saw him. Quavo was mad over some small stuff that really wasn't worth it. Takeoff was the quietest and coolest guy in that room. He didn't say a word, just chilling in the cut. He didn't even know what was going on. He just jumped and got hit." Now, in the text messages, it claims that the first firearm used that affected Takeoff came from his own man. As the evidence that I shared during this video state, Migo Bands was the only one he was with that day. It was Quavo, Takeoff, Migo Bands, and the driver of the vehicle, who I believe wasn't even inside of the mall, as eyewitnesses claim that it was Migo Bands. Then they mention it was somebody else who used a firearm back, and that would most likely have to be Cam, as evidence shown that Cam was holding a firearm the entire night. Now, it's important to also hear Offset speaking out about Takeoff.
Change the culture of music forever. You did that, Tate. You changed that flow. That flow came from Tate, the originator. The originator of that flow. It changed the music. Lord, give us the strength. Just give us the strength, the family, everybody, give us some strength. I don't want to question you, God, but I don't get it. I don't get you sometimes. And I believe in you, Father. Change the culture of music forever. You did it.
Now, with his reaction being posted online and in this video, you should also see Master P share his words.
And hip hop is too young. Rest in peace to Takeoff. My condolences goes out to Takeoff family, Quavo, man, all my soldiers and soldier reps. hip hop has turned to the new streets. We used to be in the streets trying to get into hip hop, which is crazy. When you walk out your house, tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know who might not come back. And no matter how old or young you are, it's crazy. I love y'all soldiers and salute to everybody. Let's save the next generation.
Now, this even then led into Boosie, who reacted to the situation very quickly.
R.I.P. Takeoff, bro. Shaking my head, man. Humble. That music syndicate won't show QC, all the family. We sending some prayers and love for y'all. All Takeoff family, Quavo, Offset, all y'all. That music syndicate won't, send their prayers out. His rap whack, bro. I ain't lying. We target.
Okay, so I'll carry on with the rest of what I was going to talk about, which is, where are we? Okay, here we go. So on the seat, sitting right next to Quavo, was a handgun, which was jokingly talked about by the men present, saying we got a little bit of a straightening going on, meaning for any problems that need to be solved or ironed out. The firearm will be providing that solution. You got that big old boxer back there? Don't think we are playing. Men, hey, Moon, we got a little straightening on. Yeah, this was hours before a firearm would ironically be the weapon that was discharged, causing the tragedy that took Takeoff's life. Unaware of what was about to happen, the night continued leading up to the party, rumored to have been hosted by J. Prince Jr., son of the notorious individual and alleged underworld boss of Houston. J. Prince, as usual with the majority of A-list artists, Quavo showcased moments of his life that night to his fans via his Instagram page. Takeoff could be seen with a couple of friends from earlier when he was in the Fifth Ward area. The crew now riding in the real vehicle. Pew Pew still in the opening on the seat as Quavo captured the moments to the party in a part of the footage. Quavo can be heard saying, "We got the birthday boy with me." Hitting at the party they were on the way to attending was as a celebration for his life. However, notice even though the duo is heading to the same venue, Takeoff isn't present in that particular vehicle. Maybe Takeoff had somewhere else to be first and when in his vehicle to return, or maybe he introverted and drama-free instincts led him to not want to be in the vehicle where an exposed Pew Pew was, just lying around on the seat. It was all fun and games as far as they were concerned. The night was about to be nothing but a good time with good people that they considered friends and fans. That was about to change at about midnight. So I'll just play you another video. Mhm. Just wait for the said. Sorry, guys. Let me take one. Oh, here we go.
More evidence is revealed on how Takeoff truly passed away, including who did it. It wasn't until Offset and Quavo's speech about Takeoff was released, which revealed evidence. During the two Migos rappers' speeches at Takeoff's funeral, they mentioned what happened to Takeoff passing. After Takeoff's funeral on November 11th, Migos rapper Quavo's sister posted to her Instagram, and I quote, "Find out who did this to my nephew by any means." Now, shortly after, an alleged security file was new camera footage. Takeoff invited to the event with a driver of Migo and this later on. Now, their night starts with Quavo and Takeoff performing for the small crowd, all that were invited by Jay Prince Jr. Once it was finished, they then went backstage and all relaxed at an after-party room with many music industry people, businessmen, and just others invited to the event. Now, while at the after-party, here's where we meet suspect number 2. This suspect's name is Cam. Cam is known for many street-related acts in Atlanta, and this is why Quavo may have noticed him at the after-party. During the after party, there was table games being played in exchange for cash, where Quavo is seen playing. Now, here's a photo taken of Quavo playing and then giving a very ugly look towards Cam during the after party event. It almost seemed as if Quavo knew that Cam was going to be up to something no good. Cam wore a yellow sweater this entire night. It's also important to remember that as well. Now, after this was complete and the event was finished, Quavo, Takeoff, Migo bands, as well as practically everyone invited to the event, all started walking around a shopping center in Houston, Texas, as it seemed like the table games in exchange for cash was not over. People still wanted to play. So inside of the shopping center, there is a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling Houston. There was up to 50 people at this location, standing around in a massive circle with 4 to 6 people taking turns, playing each other in games of dice in exchange for cash. Reports state that Migos rapper Quavo was one of the 50 men playing, but that was false, as Quavo was just watching. Now, while watching people play dice, a man then walks up to Quavo. This mystery man, who still remains nameless, walks up to Quavo and begins automatically calling him many names. This then led into the man mocking the way Quavo was playing during a celebrity basketball game just a few weeks prior of the incident. With Quavo arguing with this mystery man, fans and people that were at the event just start pulling out their cell phones and start recording, as Quavo is then seen arguing back and forth with this individual, where Quavo is recorded saying, and I quote, "Man, I don't care about no basketball game." Now, it was at this current time where Cam in the yellow sweater is seen walking up to Quavo and standing right beside him and the other man that's arguing. Now, with the yelling beginning to escalate, Migo Bands is then seen walking towards the group of 50 people where Quavo was arguing. It's noted that Migo Bands was most likely there to be his street security for Quavo and Takeoff. It'll make a lot more sense here in a second. Now, you can tell this is Migo Bands from the shirt, Gucci bag, single chain, and snapback that he was wearing in the vehicle earlier in the night on Instagram. Now, Migo Bands makes his way to Quavo. He makes it a priority by moving people out of the way. That way he can understand what's going on. With everybody still recording, Migo Bands is then seen standing beside Quavo, trying to figure out what is going on. Meanwhile, Takeoff is around 4 feet behind Quavo. Now, with Quavo done arguing, he begins to walk away from the individual he was yelling at. With Quavo turning his back, new camera footage revealed the man he was arguing with then swings towards Quavo. With Takeoff seeing this occur, this is where he starts to take a few steps forward, and with him walking towards Quavo for backup, this is where allegedly Cam pulls a firearm from out of his yellow sweater pocket and raises it. Meanwhile, at the same time, Migo Bands then raises his firearm as well, and both firearms end up being used. With both firearms being used in this small space, everybody in the crowd starts immediately sprinting away. Allegedly, Cam is the one who used his firearm first, then Migo Bands used his second. And with both of them using firearms, eyewitnesses at the scene claim that both Migo Bands and Cam allegedly hit Takeoff once each, as I'll be sharing that eyewitness's statement here in a moment. Now, with the sounds of firearms being used, everybody is sprinting away, ducking for cover, hopping over benches, and they're even sprinting out of the doors of the mall. Meanwhile, Takeoff is sadly seen on the floor of the mall with Quavo standing right by his side. It was at this moment where Quavo was trying everything possible to get him help. He was even asking everyone to stop recording as well. Now, Takeoff in the end was affected by 2 strays during this incident, and everyone is blaming Quavo for this, but do not do that, as during this entire situation, with firearms being used right beside Quavo, he knew immediately Takeoff was affected. He stood...
So, sorry, I'll just get myself back. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, so the private party was going as planned. Images surfaced of everyone around at the table with money on top, presumably enjoying a fun round of dice. Takeoff would share a post to his Instagram store with the pic of him with the song Stop Breathing by Playboy Cardi. Looking back, it was an ominous sign for the event that was about to happen. The party ended at around 2 a.m. November the 1st, the crowd was outside hanging around, probably reminiscing on the fun time on the entire event. However, an argument would later break out involving Takeoff's uncle Quavo. Video footage pieces together what might have led to the altercation. At the beginning of the footage, one person can be heard shouting about disrespect, which gives the impression that the entourage of Takeoff and Quavo has directly or indirectly offended the person or persons on the other end, or it was the other way around. After a heated back and forth, Quavo can be heard saying, "Hey, let's go," wanting to hurt somebody. At this point, it appears Quavo took the high road, realizing that the situation was escalating, and when someone began hurt or worse yet losing their life, but it was too little too late. It was right around 2:35 a.m. as the rapper turned and walked away. About a second later, a pew-pew shot sounded off, followed by a round of other shots that sent the crowd scattering in a panic. 3 people were injured in the attack, but one was unresponsive, lying in a pool of blood on the floor. Takeoff was on the opposite end of some of those pew-pews and was hit in his head, torso and arm, ending his life at the scene. The next couple of minutes was complete pandemonium, and his uncle Quavo had to bear witness to losing his nephew, while there was nothing he could do, and the remaining crowd looking on. The news soon engulfed social media and news stations worldwide. The prolific member Takeoff of the rap group Migos has passed. So I'm just going to show you some more videos, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for being here.
What do family is your girl Tamika? I am back with another video. Shout out to the family S&T Drip. What it do? I appreciate you guys for coming back and tuning in. I just appreciate all of the support. Now we're about to hop right into this video. It's been a week since we lost Kershnick Ball, aka Takeoff, aka been a lot of different speculation online. Discuss the facts. You know what I'm saying? Person, I don't like to go off speculation. I like to do my research before I report anything to the masses. Now, this is the first thing that we do know. Okay, this is what we do know as a fact. There was an argument that ensued. Okay, before the shots rang out, before he lost his life, yada yada yada. We know that people was having a disagreement. Okay, now a lot of people was thinking that it was with Mike. It wasn't the case. Now, Mike Prince was with Quavo that whole night. Now, I'm not saying that enemies won't stick close to you, because sometimes they will. But when I seen the argument, I do not feel like the argument was between Quavo and Mike Prince. It sounded like to me that Mike Prince came over there really trying to calm Quavo down. You dig what I mean? I feel like there was an argument or something that ensued off camera, or maybe prior to this particular clip. Mike came over there like, Quavo, man, chill out. And he like, man, I don't play like that. The other day when we was playing the basketball, now see, that sounds like to me somebody that's trying to plead their case. It don't sound like it's an argument to me. You dig what I'm saying? Drop it down in the comments. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. But that is just my opinion on that matter. Now, a lot of people was talking about this Chucky dial. Okay. Now, I will admit it's very weird. A lot of people was feeling like there was a weapon stashed in this Chucky dial, and that was the reason why the first shot was kind of muffled. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't say that that would not be a good theory, because when I look at this clip slow down, I'm trying to understand why he was ducking already. Nothing had happened. Instead of getting out the way, you're standing behind them ducking. That is some very weird. You dig what I'm saying? Why not just run to the door? You dig what I'm saying? You got plenty time to do it. So I just did not understand that. A lot of people was feeling like this was the time where Quavo got swung on and they thought Quavo fell. This was the Chucky Dial's hair. Quavo was already up the hallway, you guys. You know what I'm saying? That was not Quavo with the orange shirt. He did not fall. Quavo ran his ass up the hallway. He is up the hallway, okay? Now, the person of interest that everybody is looking at, including me, will be this dude with the yellow hoodie. All right. I'm going to put this down a fraction from real time, but not quite slow-mo, so we can kind of look at everything as close to real time as possible and not miss anything. You dig what I'm saying? Now, this whole situation was very weird. A lot of people felt like Takeoff got caught up in crossfire. But right now, you know what I'm saying? Migo Bands, which is on the Migo side, he hasn't even shot yet. He just feel like something is very wrong. You see the guy with the yellow hoodie to the right side of Takeoff, and then you see Chucky Dial behind them both. Very weird. Now you can see something happened and made Takeoff spin around. You can definitely see Takeoff spin around, and then you will see the dude with the yellow hoodie flee inside the building. Now we're going to go very, very slow so you can see what's going on. You see Mike Prince is up there, look like he's standing next to a female, and then you see Migo Band looking like something ain't right. He pull out his gun at this particular time, and then you're going to see yellow hoodie. He moves Takeoff. You dig what I'm saying? He pulls him. We're going to look at it one more time so you guys can actually see it, because when you look at this shit in slow-mo, it is trippy as hell, okay? Now, do you see yellow hoodie? He's running into the building. Something has happened. Quavo was all the way up the hallway, you guys, all right? Now, that's the time where Takeoff failed, all right? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go frame by frame again. Now, when you go slow, you also realize whoever was filming this video was, in fact, a female. You can see her hair and things like that. So I wonder if she was one of the young ladies that got shot. Now, frame by frame again. You see Migo Bands. He looking at yellow hoodie like something ain't right. Everybody ahead is kind of oblivious about what's going on in this particular moment, all right? Takeoff is like, what's going on, too? Because he's kind of walking. But then you're going to see Look at this clip. Something happened. You see Takeoff spin around completely. You dig what I'm saying? People is feeling like that was the time where he was shot. All right. But see, this is what baffles me with the whole shooting situation. Takeoff was hit twice due to the coroner report. All right. So I feel like Yellow Hoodie was definitely responsible for one of the shots, but another shot came from somebody else completely. And the coroner reports reflects that. Now you see Yellow Hoodie, he's running inside of the building, all right? And then you're gonna see Yellow Hoodie coming outside of the building. His hoodie is on, he's walking out, all right? Calmly trying to act like he's incognito. That was very, very weird to me, you guys. I definitely feel like the police need to be looking at his black ass. You feel what I'm saying? Something is not right. Now I brought some steals. He was definitely holding the gun. Takeoff was oblivious, or maybe he knew, but by that time, it's really hard for you to really make a move, okay? But you can see that Takeoff was spun around. Shout out to the Vote Uncut. They had some very, very good footage. I felt like it was the best footage that I've seen so far, but something definitely happened. Right here, you see Takeoff is being spun around. So that had to be the first shot, or when all of the commotion broke loose. Now, this dude, Lil Cam, and that's the AKA Yellow Hoodie, he has been around these dudes a lot, all right? Duke the Jeweler, who had lost his life at a dice game, Lil Cam was there, all right? Now, the thing that is very weird to me, there has been a lot of rumors saying that Lil Cam was shot dead. He is not dead, you guys. This dude is still walking around, and he's tweeting on Twitter. If you see some of the shit that he's tweeting, is very disgusting, okay? And he said one day ago, and this was actually 5 days ago, you know what I'm saying? He said the impossible. I did that shit the other day. He is just being very, very reckless online. I do not know if this is a dummy account, but we went back some years, and this is definitely Lil Cam's account. Now, it was on private. It was on private for like a day or so, and then they actually removed it off private. And since that time, this little dude has just been talking very, very reckless online. I mean, he just does not have empathy for nothing. So this little nigga need to get off the street ASAP. Now, it has been rumored that Lil Cam, his dad, dates all the way back with the princess. So it's just not like, oh yeah, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hire this little dude off the streets. It's some family ties shit going on, you know what I mean? But look, I ain't even gonna get into that. Now we went back to 06, so you guys can see that this was in fact his Twitter account, and he ain't been liking Quavo Nil since then. All right. Now look, a lot of people was feeling like Takeoff mistakenly had got shot by somebody who was in their camp. And I'm not even gonna lie, when you first seen the footage in real time, it looks to seem that he was shooting reckless. But when you look at everything in slow mo, he actually had more gun etiquette than anybody that day. Like seriously, I mean, he really did. Now this was what Quavo with Jai's Prince. People is confusing him. You know what I mean, with J Prince Jr. They are not the same people. Okay, so he was not there when the whole situation happened. But again, you did what I'm saying. I felt like Migo Bands had more gun etiquette than anybody. Even when he was feeling like something was eerie, he still did not release no shots. He did not shoot until that first shot rang out. And that is a fact, you guys. So I really do not feel in my heart that he was responsible. Now, this is going to be the reverse angle. So I want you guys to keep in mind that Takeoff is going to be to the front left-hand side of Migo Band right now. So he's already feeling like, man, something ain't right. Something is not right. Now, at this moment, okay, Quavo is clear because Quavo is now going to walk behind Migo Band. All right. Quavo is starting to walk up the hallway. And then this is when all hell breaks loose. You're going to see Migo Band draw his weapon. And then that's when those other 5 shots come out. Now I'm going to play it to the opposite end. Now you're going to realize where Migo Band is right now. So when you see him clutching and everything like that, he's already feeling like, look, something is about to go down. Quavo was already up the hallway, so he is basically out of harm's way. Takeoff is in the middle of both of them. You dig? So that put him in a very, very delicate position to begin with. It was almost like, what could he do at that particular time? Now, listen, I hope they get his ass. I hope they get his ass. And justice need to be for Takeoff. He did not deserve this. He was completely unproblematic. You know what I mean? He was a good dude. Everybody had nothing but good things to say about Takeoff. Rest in peace to Takeoff. My heart goes out to Quavo and Offset. And until next video, I'm going to catch y'all, family. Peace.
So I'll continue, guys. So news stations worldwide, the prolific member Takeoff of the rapper Red Migos has passed security guards in the area, informed law officials that the pew-pew shots were heard but they weren't around where the altercation happened. Patrons all dispersed from the scene as investigators sought answers through neighbouring surveillance footage that might have captured witnesses and the altercation. The hip-hop community was in mourning, leading some like this designer to break down in tears online, re-drowning his career path and allegedly calling it guts being a rapper. Others like Boozy and Master P gave their condolences and expressed their disappointments in the state of hip-hop with how many rappers homicides occur on a regular basis. The internet became flooded with posts paying respect to the rapper ego and all to split. Takeoff is a quiet guy with a big heart that always stayed out of drama and always showed love. Since then, it has been a priority by law enforcement, along with the entire hip-hop community, his friends and family, to find the motive and suspect who took his life. It wouldn't take long for rumours to emerge stating that the incident occurred after a fallout over a dice game. A woman with the Twitter handle at Triracial Angel 2 would post online to clear up the dice game rumours involved in Takeoff's passing. In a picture, she was seen right next to Takeoff with the crowd, which made her an eyewitness, able to clarify what might have happened. According to her words and accounts of what happened, Takeoff wasn't involved in any of the altercation. In her words, he was the coolest, quietest in the room. The whole time wasn't saying a word, just chilling in the cut. He didn't even know what was going on. He just jumped up and got shot out of nowhere. She went on to say that his uncle Quavo was in a verbal altercation with someone over something small when one thing led to another and pew-pews began ringing out. What she then said made Takeoff's passing even more tragic. According to her, someone in the Takeoff and Quavo's entourage was pew-pewing wildly and hit Takeoff in friendly fire. Then the opposing side returned fire and Takeoff may have been hit again. By then, however, saying it was allegedly one of their own people that fired the shot accidentally unaliving Takeoff, although she wasn't able to pinpoint faces of the person who pulled the trigger. So I'm just going to show you another another video, sorry. Oh. Sorry about that. Goes on. Right. Oh. Undo. Not going to undo it. Okay.
Good Rizzle fam, it's your boy Big Man. Takeoff's younger brother YRN Lingo just called out Quavo for lying about his feelings for Takeoff. Seems like there's way more gang than we first thought. Things between the remaining Migos members were very far from being chill. Just 2 days ago, we've seen yet another indicator of the poor relationship between the families. YRN Lingo posted a series of Instagram stories, and he threw some shade on Quavo, who's apparently faking his sadness for Takeoff. He's not true family. Here's how the story goes. As y'all know, Takeoff died last year in November, shot dead in front of a bowling alley in downtown Houston. Things went south quickly after an argument between Quavo and another person escalated to the point of no return. Sadly for everyone, guns were drawn and all hell broke loose. Before you knew it, a number of people got shot, and Takeoff was one of them. He suffered a bullet wound to the head, took his life within minutes. There was not a single thing that anyone could do in order to save him. It was nothing short of tragedy. Quavo basically held Takeoff during his last moments. But we now got YRN Lingo, who told the world that Quavo wasn't really shaken by Take's death as much as he claims. See, YRN Lingo is Takeoff's younger brother. He jumped off the porch a few years back when he dropped the track with Quavo. He also collaborated on numerous tracks with his brother Takeoff. Undoubtedly, Lingo is one of the people who was troubled the most after he found out. There's an empty void in his heart. It's never going to be the same for him. Tragic loss Takeoff like no other. He wrote a long message on Instagram going into all the details of what he's going through in his head once he realized that his brother is no longer there for him. The caption wrote, "It's never going to be the same again, but your name will live on. Long live Take." And in the message he wrote, "Dear Take, I don't know where to begin. I honestly still can't believe it. My big brother, my right hand, my other half, my literal twin. The one I would call upon anytime, no matter what time, weather, situation you were in. You always made sure the family was straight. Even when I didn't need anything, you always gave me something." However, grief is not the only thing that he felt after his brother Take died. Seems like he also got some hard feelings for Quavo and Offset, who claimed to be family, but according to Lingo, they're just faking it. Lingo exposed Quavo and called him a liar after a series of Instagram stories that he posted earlier this week. He lashed out completely on Quavo. He let it all out. He went on to say things like, "Getting sick of y'all niggas thinking that y'all could say whatever you want to me. When this man was alive, they was all on now. Since he gone, they were nowhere to be found. Sucker, all that fake crying shit to be so flawed and lame, it don't even make any sense. I don't have nay brothers. Only brother I have is gone. And if you feel like I'm talking about you, the shoe fit myth. Nobody has to worry about what's going on over here. We're straight. And stop claiming y'all with my brother." Now, we can't even imagine what Lingo must be feeling after he suffered such a tragic loss, but he's obviously in pretty messed up place. People showed their support for Lingo online with comments like, "I can't imagine how he feels, but I'm grieving the loss of Take as well." And another person said that things will never be the same. He said, "Ever since Off passed, it just don't feel the same anymore." But it sure seems like there's something going on behind the scenes that nobody knew. If what Lingo says is true, then it might be the case that Quavo and Offset weren't particularly close to Take like they claim they were. Not just that, but it seems like there was more business and less family. Now that Takeoff is no longer here, Lingo said that he had no brothers, which he means Quavo and Offset, being fake sad to the cameras and the media. According to Lingo, they weren't even sad because of what happened. To finish things off, Lingo let everyone know that he's releasing a song in Takeoff's memory called "Still Hurt." The caption wrote, "I miss you, brother. I swear I do, and I'm sorry. So sorry." Whatever happened to Lingo is tragic, and we sure hope that better days are coming for him. We also hope that he's going to find a way to cope with all the pain that he's feeling right now. But we also have to wonder if he's lashed out to Quavo and Offset for good reason. We've seen both of them mourn and release music in Takeoff's memory. We've seen them post equally as emotional posts online as well. What could have made YRN Lingo say all these things about it? Is he saying these things because his feelings are hurt and they're clouding his judgment, or is there something else going on that we don't know of? We've seen a lot of drama take place in these last few days between Offset, Quavo, and the J Prince family. They've been coming up in the news a lot, especially after the Grammy Awards this year, during which they allegedly had a scuffle. Whether or not that's just a rumor, it doesn't matter that much. Clearly, there's plenty of cracks in the Migos boat, and it's sinking slowly but surely. We as fans have to wonder, is there any hope of salvaging what we got left of the legendary Migos? We'd all like to see Offset and Quavo rock it together again, not just for Takeoff's sake, but for the sake of the legacy they made together. The odds seem to be against all of those who want to see them reunite. As we've seen time and time again, Quavo's loyalty seems to lie with J Prince family. They not only glorified Quavo more than once, but they also threw dirt on Offset's name. We just seen Offset and J Prince go at each other on social media, calling out each other on multiple occasions and multiple platforms too. One thing's clear as day here. The J Prince family is heavily involved in this entire situation. No matter how hard they try to cover it all up, people know that they're responsible in some way for what happened to Takeoff. there's more than a solid chance that Lingo referred to the J. Prince family in his stories as well. They too are riding this terrible wave of media attention that took off ever since Take passed. In the end, it's safe to say that things really went south ever since we lost the Rocket Man. We hope to see some brighter days soon, and hopefully what's left of the Migos will find a way to forgive each other and make dope music together once again. But what's y'all's take on this desperate situation that we see unfolding currently? You think YRN Lingo was right when he lashed at Quavo and Offset, or was he acting reckless? Write down what you think down in the comments.
Okay. Right, here. So, reports from investigators seem to match or credit to the scenario she stated. According to findings, there were at least 2 weapons firing off at the scene of the crime. The revelation has since been branched off into more theories on who the alleged person in his entourage firing the shots and what was the person's opposite and firing back. Many speculation that the incident has something to do with their mob ties. Affiliation has, as video clips pointed it out, that Jay Prince Jr., who hosted the party, and members of his entourage who were with Quavo and Takeoff for the night just casually walked and went on their way, leaving Takeoff lifeless on the floor. Strangely enough, the young lady who spoke on what occurred ended her message stating that Houston is about to be a no-fly zone because the mob is supposed to be protecting these artists. It appears the homicide of Takeoff may run deeper than on the surface, involving affiliations that is tied to the underground crime world. Blurred footage images showing persons of interest have been released to the public to aid in finding those responsible. Everything has been deemed speculation until official investigations are complete. You played a major role in shaping the culture of hip-hop and inspiring a number of artists to chase their dreams and find success in the music industry. Rest in peace, Takeoff. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And that is the end of my live. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. See you later.